one.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen and ladies? Another crazy show for you guys. Hillary Clinton and Whoopi Goldberg are trying to avoid their Epstein involvement like the plague. AOC drops the ball like nobody's business on the world stage like an idiot. Mamdani wants to drop charges from a man who intentionally tried to stab and kill police officers. But before we talk about that, we got to talk about this transformer at the ice ring deciding to shoot him up dressed like Hulk Hogan with a skirt on. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning big, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, welcome back. I want to tell you guys about the brand new website, Synergy's website. We just got it launched. It's absolutely incredible. You got to check it out. I want you to join me on the screen and check it on here. And so we just developed this. Shout out to NBN who helped develop this website. But look how freaking good this looks. The product is great. People's lives are being changed by Synergy. I mean, no lie, you can see it. Even Howie Mandel has something to say about Synergy. And so the new revamp is incredible. It gives you all the information you need to know about the daytime, about the nighttime supplement. And here are all the reviews from all the satisfied customers. You name it, they're writing it. So if you have any question about how good Synergy is, the both day formula and night formula, look no further. We have it all for you. Also, it is a money-back guarantee. If you buy Synergy and it does not help your performance, help your mental clarity, and do what we say it does, if you take the night drink and you do not get the best sleep of your life, send it back. We'll get your money back. We ain't in it to try to make money off of you. We in it to make a difference. And if it don't work for you, send it back to us and we'll give you a refund. That's how confident we are in the product. All right? So before I start the show, I want to first say RIP to Jesse Jackson. I know that Jesse Jackson has been hoodwinking America for a long time, but outside of the hoodwinkedness, he was somebody's father. He was somebody's grandfather. He was a brother, and I think that he did make a difference in the world. And so I want to give him enough respect. I wasn't alive or aware of his when he first started out. So I don't know who he was when he first started. And there's a cultural difference that I think people have to understand, a generational difference, that people in my generation, I don't think have the same level of respect or reverence of Al Sharpton. I mean, not Al Sharpton, but Jesse Jackson, like those who were alive and advocating in his time, back in the 60s when he was fighting for the civil rights movement. So I just want to give him his time, give him his shine, respect the man to a certain degree. But I didn't like how he was doing his business later in life. But, hey, man, God will be the judge at the end of the day. All right, let's get to this transformer at the skating rink. I just wonder, when are we going to finally start identifying that transgenderism is a problem? Now, there are people who are not mentally ill that just, well, you could argue that they're not mentally ill. I'm saying their mental illness don't overtake them, meaning that they just want to live their life. They want to dress like a woman. They wish they could be a woman, but they know that they're a man and they're going to always be a man and they got a pee-pee. And they know they did surgeries, and they're not trying to go in the women's bathroom, and they're not trying to play in sports. There are people who do that. Good for you, live your life. But we should be consciously aware that most of these people are not just making a decision because they want to be this way. They are struggling with a mental illness. And it doesn't mean you're an evil person, But we should address the mental illness and quit capitulating to leftist ideology. We have just seen crazy amounts of violence from trans people and trans adjacent people in the last 5 months that's mind-blowing. I think most of the mass shootings that have happened have been from people who are trans. And let me clarify this real quick before I play the clip. It's not that they're trans. It's that they're mentally ill and they're taking these medications that's making them insane. So the same thing with black people. It's not that black people are a problem. It's that black people without daddies that's in gangs and living a life of perpetual violence, they're the problem. It's not white people ain't the problem. It's the liberal white women who are completely mentally ill, narcissistic nut jobs. They are the problem. Let's get to the story. Here's a little bit of raw footage of, let's go with the news take first, and then I want to recap some of the images, but let's go to the news. Look, boy, I need to give a raise for that transition right there. That was immaculate. All right, come on, roll the clip.
Paula, Chris, still a scene outside of the rink this morning. The parking lot blocked off, police cars sitting right in front of the arena. Our partners here in Rhode Island, WPRI, reporting that the shooter was the father of a North Providence high school senior and that this all appears to stem from a family dispute. We're told this morning that the student's mother was killed in the rink and his sibling died at the hospital. 3 others are in critical condition, including a family friend. Authorities have identified the shooter as Robert Dorgan, but say he also went by Roberta Esposito. Lynch Arena here is a staple of the local hockey community. This was supposed to be a celebration. A men's high school game was just in its first period with players on the ice when the shots rang out. Pawtucket police say a Good Samaritan jumped in to stop the gunman, likely preventing the situation from being much worse before the shooter turned the gun on himself.
It appears that a lone individual, the suspect, entered the arena to watch the hockey game of a family member, and unfortunately during that time a shooting occurred. We have confirmed that the suspect is now deceased. Also, there are 2 victims that have also been confirmed deceased, and then we have 3 victims that are still at the hospital in critical condition.
All right, so that's just a quick glimpse of what happened. Let me play some footage for you guys. Here's just a little bit. It was in the news clip. So I think we can skip these. They were in the news clip. There's a second image. It's kind of graphic, so I'm going to leave it out. Maybe we'll put it in for the members only content. We'll probably put it in there. I don't want to show the graphic nature of it. We don't know if it's AI or not. But here's the chief or whoever's responsible for the press conference making a clarification on the person's gender. Roll the clip.
As for the suspect, can you confirm whether the suspect's a male, female? We've heard that it's a transgender person. Is that something that you have in terms of information?
So what I can say right now that we have identified the person, the suspect, by a birth name. The birth name was Robert Dorgan. We have also learned that the person does go by the name of Roberta, also uses a last name of Esposito. But again, that will be all confirmed throughout the course of the investigation as to their status. That really doesn't have anything to do with the investigation.
Right, I'm glad it said that. Now look at homeboy. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. You know you're mentally ill when you think that look good. Like you put a purse and put some Daisy Dukes on, and you think that makes that you turn into a woman, and you look in the mirror, and you think that. I'm not trying to make fun of nobody, man. That's somebody's daddy, and he went crazy and killed his family member. So it's sad, but I just don't know where we draw the line, man. It is fair to say that a person that is doing what he doing is a red flag and is mentally ill and should be checked into a mental illness facility and get the help he needs, not placating to him and letting him just live his life spiraling out of control, like the one that just did the shooting in Canada. Here's a video of the daughter leaving the police station and kind of giving a quick summation of her dad and confirming it's her dad and that he was mentally ill. Roll the clip.
Shot my family. described that shooting suspect as her father. She came out of the police department behind me here in tears after presumably being interviewed by police.
My father was a shooter.
What happened?
Shot my family. And he's dead now.
What was the reasoning? Was there a family argument?
He has mental health issues.
So yes, she goes on to describe those mental health issues a little bit more. She says that he had been struggling with mental health for quite some time. She said, quote, he was very sick.
Now, I do believe that's the case, but there's clearly a stimuli. And nobody really want to talk about it. And there's no justification for what he did. But he didn't just decide to put a skirt on and go and shoot somebody at an event. I think a gentleman, we got a clip of him kind of explaining a little bit more of it. I guarantee you it was a conflict. That's why it was isolated to certain people. It was a conflict, probably between an ex or something of that nature, and that hormones and all that went to his brain, and he decided to be a killer. Let's roll the clip real quick. This young man, this social media guy, he kind of unpacks it a little bit. Then we're going to move on to Hillary Clinton and Whoopi Goldberg exposing themselves as being clearly a part of the Epstein files. Roll the clip.
The suspect was a father who may have been dressed in women's clothing. That was later confirmed, and that he intentionally targeted family members who were at the hockey game. In 2021, Dorgan's then wife, Rhonda Dorgan, filed for divorce against him. Under grounds for divorce, Rhonda's initially wrote gender reassignment surgery, narcissistic plus personality disorder traits. Those were crossed out and replaced with differences which have caused the immediate breakdown of the marriage. The divorce was finalized in June 2021. In early 2020, Dorgan went to the North Providence Police Department and reported he had recently undergone gender reassignment surgery and that his father-in-law wanted him out of their North Providence home because of it. Photos are pretty clear that the shooter was trans. Twitter of Robert was found, Roberto Durango. He said on February 3rd, I'd fight for kids with my last breath. That was just 2 weeks ago. He also said some trans people would defend kids with their last breath. On his right arm, Robert had an SS tattoo. This lined up with anti-Semitic posts on his Twitter. He also called for a new third party in the American political system, with Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene being the lead. Just 2 days ago, he responded to a tweet from Kevin Sorbo. Tim McBride is a man. Community note this if I'm wrong. And then Roberto Durango responded, keep bashing us, but do not wonder why we go berserk. A brutal day in Rhode Island. Just awful. 2 people are dead. 3 are still in the hospital. We still pray for them. The third person being dead is this absolute disgusting creature behind me.
Now, let me just say this, man. If somebody's saying black people killing too many people, they're acting a fool, I don't go, see, y'all keep talking about us, this is why we go berserk. No, you mentally ill if you think you're going to hurt people because you're mad at people disagreeing with your lifestyle. You're a nut. All right, let's talk about Hillary Rodham Clinton and Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, Michael Jordan. I should have did this at the beginning. Let's just clear this Michael Jordan thing up real quick, and then we're going to get to Whoopi Goldberg. Come to find out, and I want y'all to clip this and put this on the internet. For everybody that was talking trash to Michael Jordan, you need to write an apology. Write an apology. You shouldn't have did it. I had a guy message me the other day. Man, that's messed up, bro. I don't know how you defending. Ain't nobody touching my kid. He shouldn't have touched that kid like that. I would never did. That was crazy. Then I looked at the comment section of my video yesterday. Oh, bro, I disagree with you on this, bro. He was just wrong. I don't even know how you defending this, bro. Where are we at in the world we defending? Now we know that Michael Jordan was trying to get the ice out the back of that boy's shirt because they poured ice on him. And y'all up here trying to ruin this man's reputation because you stupid. Y'all should be ashamed, y'all said. Me and my wife talking about this yesterday. People just nutty. You don't try to blame a man. Apologize to him now. Some of y'all ain't never accomplished nothing in your life trying to drag down a man who the GOAT. Trying to get the ice out the boy back, and y'all talking about he touching him. I wish he'd sue some of y'all, to be honest. But he's a billionaire, and he probably don't even give a care. All right, let's get to Rodney Clinton. Now, everybody's crying about these Epstein files. Let me just make a quick statement, and I'm going to get to Rodney Clinton. There are people in the Epstein files that are evil and need to be prosecuted and probably going to burn in hell. There are also people, and this is why Trump did not want them released the way they've been released. There's people that get in trouble just because they knew the guy or just because they communicated the guy. And some of them had no idea he was a pedophile, weirdo, I would argue. Now y'all getting people in trouble who just sent them a message trying to network. And y'all going crazy over that. You need to slow down and say, yeah, the text message is weird. 3 options you got with it, or the email. 1 is that the person is a weirdo and they need to go to jail. 2 is just because you say something weird don't mean that the government has enough evidence to prosecute you. The third thing is maybe you need to consider the context because it's only weird because you want it to be weird because it's Epstein, and in hindsight, we know he a nut job. Maybe you should think about the context of it. You got those 3 options that you should consider when you read any email. Don't be the person that think every communication is an indictment on somebody. I can name you 45 situations where people turned out to be nut jobs and good, innocent people happen to know that person. But they didn't know that person was doing that. And people are retroactively accusing people. So 3 options. Don't be a nut. Be evaluated impartially in 3 ways. All right, let's get Hillary on this thing. Roll it.
And Madam Secretary, I'd like to ask you, I'm the mother of a daughter, and it absolutely horrifies me to see what the Epstein files have brought out. And I wanted to ask you, what does it say about Western values when Western leaders have perpetuated and participated in these horrific abuses of my...
I know people are going to be mad at me for saying this. It is horrific, and I hope these people go to jail and they burn in hell for them being inappropriate to underage and of age women. I want to also point out, and I think this needs to be talked about as well, teach your young girls to focus on doing the right thing, not get rich quick, and not mess with these clown weirdos looking for opportunities. Many people that become victims to these weirdos are young women whose parents do not teach them how to have integrity. They're teaching them, get opportunities. Let Epstein send you to boarding school or some culinary school so you can chase your dreams, and you know you got to do something nasty in the background to get him there. Same thing with R. Kelly and the rest of these people. People send their kids to R. Kelly house. Y'all was bumping and grinding and pumping and sweating over his song last night, and you send your 16-year-old to his house. Y'all got to eliminate the opportunities for your kid to get exposed to some of these weirdos. That is also a conversation we need to have. Roll the clip, Brandon. Stop. Roll the clip.
And girls.
Thank you very much. We have gone everywhere from New Start to Epstein.
To the last question, it's horrifying, and we're hoping that, there will be continued release every day that passes. That doesn't mean, as our news commentators say every day in the United States, it's because someone's name is there, they committed a crime. But I think there's a lot of very troubling and really horrific information coming out. Today, it came out that Steve Bannon was trying to get Jeffrey Epstein to help him overthrow Pope Francis. I guess that was part of the civilizational true conservatism. So it is something that needs to be totally transparent. I've called for many years for everything to be put out there so people can.
All right, y'all notice how her example was Steve Bannon. Now let's go look at the mirror real quick. Let's let her put her ugly face against the mirror so she can look in the mirror. She claimed that her and her husband have no connection to Jeffrey Epstein. Woman, if you gon' say something, you need to be consistente. I just made that word up. It's a Spanish Negro word for consistent. Okay? Consistente. Listen to what she said when she was interviewed, and then we're going to blast her with the proof. Roll the clip.
Do you regret the links that there have been?
You know, we have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about. They are accused, and in both cases were convicted of horrific crimes against girls and women. That should be the focus. And we are more than happy to say what we know, which is very limited and totally unrelated to their behavior or their crimes. And we want to do it in public because let's make this transparent.
There are calls for another individual who denies wrongdoing to go before Congress on this matter. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew. Do you think he should testify?
I think everybody should testify. Look,
including the former prince?
I think everybody should testify who is asked to testify. I just want it to be fair. I want everybody treated the same way. That's not true for my husband and me because other witnesses were asked to testify. They gave written statements under oath. We offered that. They want to pull us. Why did they want to pull us into this? To divert attention from President Trump. This is not complicated.
Hold on. You know how stupid these people are? I just want to make this point before we show you Ghislaine Maxwell at a wedding and all this stuff. If they wanted to divert attention from Donald Trump, they would have redacted his name. Why did they redact Donald Trump's name? They exposed Donald Trump. They allowed Donald Trump, whatever his dealings were, to be exposed in the public. And now, if you go and look up some of the Epstein files, it exonerates Donald Trump to a large degree. One accusation against him was like 35 years after they claimed that it happened. They referred to him as President Trump, so that means that they must have accused him while he was the president, which is insane. They interviewed him. It was unfounded. Donald Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He didn't like Trump. Trump was a snitch, according to him. But now they keep saying they're trying to cover it up from Donald Trump. You tell me why they didn't do this under the Biden administration. Where was the victims under the Biden administration? Why nobody was crying and spitting on each other about this? Instead, they're doing it now because they want to discredit Donald Trump. And he said, put it all out there. And they still want to act like he's the problem or they covering for him. All right, let's go to the picture. What about this picture? Now, this could be AI. It don't seem like AI. We've seen it before. It's not AI. See, my team says it's verified.
Yeah, Brandon, that is verified picture.
Verified picture. Ghislaine Maxwell at their wedding. It's not just everybody come to the global initiative. At your daughter's wedding. How they get the invite? Last time I checked, you can't just pull up to somebody's wedding. Okay, we got more. Let's talk about Billy. Roll it.
Well, we know he was on the plane, not only on the plane a couple times, multiple times. He traveled internationally with Jeffrey Epstein. And he was on the plane called the Lolita Express because it supposedly had a bed in there where Jeffrey Epstein had young girls. He has been a friend of his, a continuing friend of his for years and years. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who hasn't spoken to him in many years, over a decade, after he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for bad behavior. So that's the difference there. And I think Americans see the two-tier justice system. But, you know, we don't know. They're saying Clinton has not been to his private island, but he has traveled all over the world with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
Donald Trump was asked about this on Air Force One. Roll the clip.
So Hillary Clinton said in an interview today that she and her husband are getting pulled into the Epstein matter to divert attention from you and that your administration has something to hide. What's your response to that?
I have nothing to hide. I've been exonerated. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. They went in hoping that they'd find it and found just the opposite. I've been totally exonerated. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein was fighting that I don't get elected with some author, a sleazebag, by the way. And I've been totally exonerated. No, they're getting pulled in, and that's their problem. I don't know. They're going to have to see what happens. But I watched her in Munich, and she seriously has Trump derangement syndrome.
Do you think that she should publicly testify?
You know, I've been totally exonerated on Epstein, and it's really interesting because they've been pulled in. Think of it. They've been pulled in. Clinton and many other Democrats have been pulled in.
100% right. Let's go to Whoopi Goldberg because she also is getting pulled in. And I'm saying you reap what you sow, right? You on here, Whoopi on here running her mouth, and women on The View running their mouth, bashing everybody, and then all of a sudden they show up in the files, and now they want to change the rules of the game. All right, show Whoopi. Roll it.
Now, in the name of transparency, can you put up my name is in the files? Yes. And what does it say? It says, Whoopi needs a plane to get to Monaco. John Lennon's charity, it should say Julian Lennon's charity, is paying for it. They don't want to charter, so they're looking for private owners. Here's the info. And they give all the information, and they're saying, do you want to offer your G2? Okay.
And it looks like they said no thanks.
Yeah.
So in other words, anybody can be on this list.
Well, this is my point, because I'm telling you, when I tell you people are trying to turn me into, I wasn't his girlfriend, I wasn't his friend.
You were too old for him.
I was not only too old, but it was at a time, you know, where this is just not, you used to have facts before you said stuff.
But Trump is on the list 38,000 times.
Well, I can't speak to him, but I'm speaking about me because I'm getting dragged. People actually believe that I was with him. It's like, honey, come on. Yeah. Every man that I've ever been with, you've known about him because either the Inquirer wrote it about it. Yeah. People wrote about this stuff. So, no, I never had this, you know. And, no, I didn't get on the plane because you know what I would have to do to get on the plane? Fly. They were trying to,
and she doesn't fly.
No, so they're trying
She's
to get me.
Babe.
They're trying to get me to get on a plane to get to this thing for Julian Lennon.
Yeah, but the thing is, they dropped like 300 names.
Yes.
And it's like flood the zone because when you're looking, there are people like Marilyn Monroe who was dead.
Elvis.
Yeah, a lot of people, because a lot of the reasons your name can be mentioned are news articles, third-party emails, contacts. Again, wealthy, famous people often cross in professional and social circles, so that's not the surprising part.
It's funny they had that energy when they on the list. But Donald Trump can't be professionally crossing Jeffrey Epstein. Look at Dum Dum McDum-Dum. Probably top 5 dumbest women alive. Maybe to ever live. Listen to what she said.
People were dying for this information. There was some sort of list that everybody thought was going to come out, and who's on the list. What's important for us to note is we shouldn't be repeating names that are on the list, because just because your name has not on the list, but in the documents, just because your name is on the documents doesn't mean that you have done anything criminally irresponsible or illegal or civilly irresponsible.
Or that you were a client.
Or that you were a client. The only really, these documents as I read them, only reflect Epstein's sexual assaults of women and his sexual behavior. So I think that
And Elaine also?
and Ghislaine. And so being named in this suit does not equate to being accused of wrongdoing. And I think that is extremely important because conspiracy theorists seem to not understand or enjoy facts. Yes. These are the facts.
There is a list. Time out. Now, look at the dates. The el datas. It's my own Spanish words. The el datas. 2024, if it could implicate Hillary or any one of these people while Trump is not in office, right? She's all for not everybody on the list is this way. They shouldn't be presumed this way. 2025, when Trump is the president, look how she talking.
Trump's name is on the logs, the passenger logs of Epstein's aircraft at least 7 times. That's already been made public. I mean, of course, Trump is denying any and all allegations, but all of that information is out there. Why not just put it to rest and say, release the list?
So now you want the list released because Donald Trump could be implicated in your mind. But before that, you don't want it released. These people are hypocrites and nut jobs. All right. We're going to talk about the crazy Mamdani story, but before we get to that, because y'all don't want to miss that. That fool is trying to get charges dropped with a man who attacked police officers with a knife. And the cops tried to stop. They shut the door on him. He broke through the door to try to kill the cops. At some point, you're culpable. But before we get to that, let's talk about AOC looking stupider than eight left shoes on a 15-foot turtle on a lily pad with herpes on it. A lily pad with herpes on it. That's crazy. Anyway, that's how crazy she looking on TV, right? Let's start with the first clip. Roll it.
And should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is of course a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Put it back on the screen. This is what happens when you don't prepare for the test. It's like you're like, I got this, bro. I ain't even got to study, bro. I already know this. You get there and they ask you, it ain't multiple choice. It's fill in the blank. You like, wait a minute. I can't eliminate the answers that I think it's not and guess one. I got to write an essay on something I didn't even read. That's AOC. She has no idea. She has not thought of it. She's just regurgitating theology that she thought she heard somewhere. Come on.
I think what we identify is that in a rules-based order, hypocrisy is vulnerability. And so I think what we are seeking is a return to a rules-based order that eliminates the hypocrisies around when too often in the West we look the other way for inconvenient populations to act out these paradoxes.
What? What did she just say? I mean, she is a sophisticated, cuter version of Kamala Harris. When I say sophisticated, she try to sound sophisticated. Kamala Harris just sound like a dummy. At least AOC put some stank on it a little bit. Now, you know you're in trouble when the New York Times is saying some stumbles. Some stumbles, my asparagus. It was a blunder. Can somebody spell blunder wrong? Okay? All right, let's get to the next clip. And this is a gentleman on Fox News articulating in a more clear sense of what was really going on with AOC in front of the world. This not some little town hall meeting, south side of Bronx or something. This is in front of the world. Roll the clip.
It takes a major screw up for the New York Times to put in their story about AOC that she had, I think they said it was a stumble or something. It has to be a really bad stumble. She has no feeling in her bones about Taiwan. She just thought, well, I'll go with the memorized answer. And I don't think even the Democratic Party will make somebody the nominee if they can't answer that question.
Next clip.
And this tough assessment from a veteran New York Democrat strategist, here's the quote: "It was a beauty pageant to show that she had some chops about international issues, and she showed a complete lack of chops." He goes on to say if she runs for president, quote, "She's now given the opposition tons of ammunition to destroy her." President Trump weighed in.
All right, let's play. We got Trump.
I watched AOC answering questions in Munich. This was not a good look for the United States. AOC, I never really I never heard her speak very much. They started answering questions. She had no idea what was happening. She had no idea how to answer, very important questions concerning the world.
Come on. Put it out there. Roll it.
We look at what happened in Venezuela, for example. It is not a, it is
Hold
not
on. Start it over. I want y'all to pay attention to how this fool trying to have these accents. When you talking regular, you don't need to say Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? That's just like me talking to somebody and I go into a Japanese restaurant to get sushi. And I go in there and say, "Hey, sir, can I have the sushi roll?" You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you? No, can I have nigiri? What are you talking about, bro? I go to a Mexican restaurant and I go, "Hey, sir, can I get on the menu? Can I get a sopapilla?" You know what I mean? Like, can I get the tortas? Can I get the what's one of my favorite things that I got there? Can I get the horchata? Why would I do that? I speak Ebonics. Y'all hear how I talk. If I'm going to a Mexican restaurant, I say I want the gordita crunch. I don't want to say I want to go to the gordita crunch. See? No say. Y'all tripping, bro. Listen to her. Let me shut up. Listen to her.
We look at what happened in Venezuela, for example. It is not a, it is not a remark on who Maduro was as a leader. He canceled elections. He was an anti-democratic leader. That doesn't mean that we can kidnap a head of state and engage in acts of war just because the nation is below the equator.
Below.
And
Maduro below the equator. She should actually go back to bartending. She'd probably look, let me keep it real. AOC open up a bar and she the bartender there, that spot to be jumping. She got good social media platforms. She post a bar on there. She'll be jumping, hopping off people be all at a bar. There may be a shooting in a bar, but they'll be there. Anyway, let's go to Mamdani. This is crazy to me because it makes no sense for Mamdani to act as if people should not be held accountable for the crimes that they do. Mental illness is not an excuse for you not to go to jail. You ain't that crazy. I don't care how crazy you are. You can get mental health services and jail same time. It's a one-stop shop. They should get you a double whammy, a double-double. Get in there and get your mental health help there. You don't get to say, I'm going to leave a facility and go sit at my house and let somebody talk to me about my problems. Some of y'all just evil. You ain't mentally ill. You evil. You a devil. You got that devil in you. You need to go to church and let them lay hands on you. That's what's wrong with you. It ain't got nothing to do with your mental illness. You a devil. All right, play the clip.
New York City's new mayor could be facing his first big test when it comes to the police. He wants charges dropped against a mentally ill man who was shot after allegedly attacking officers with a knife.
We see it on the
Nate Foy is
camera.
live in New York. He's got the latest for us. Hi, Nate.
Hey, John, yeah, this one's hard to wrap your head around. A man is seen on video that you just saw charging at an NYPD officer with a 13-inch knife. But New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani says that man should not be prosecuted. So take a look. Back in January, the family of Jabez Chakraborty called 911 requesting a medical transport for a schizophrenic episode. When the NYPD officers enter the home, take a look. The 22-year-old charges at the officer with that knife. The officer backs up. You can see he closes that door to protect himself, and he orders Chakraborty to drop the knife, but he doesn't. Then the man breaks through the door, and the officer shoots him 4 times. Chakraborty appeared at his arraignment from a hospital bed last Friday. He pleaded not guilty to charges of attempted assault and criminal possession of a weapon. He's being held on a $50,000 bail. Queens DA Melinda Katz said in part, quote, "As prosecutors, we are duty-bound to follow the facts, evidence, and circumstances where they lead us, including in cases that have a mental health component." Mayor Mamdani visited Chakraborty in the hospital. The mayor's an advocate for a Department of Community Safety where mental health workers would respond to a call like this rather than police.
No family should have to endure this kind of pain. What they need right now is care, dignity, and support. Jabez should not be prosecuted by the Queens District Attorney. His handcuffs should be removed, and he should be receiving the care that he needs.
Hold on, keep him on the screen. I want y'all to see I want y'all to see his face, because if you die and you see him when you die, you went to hell. What is he talking about? The family. Well, let me say, he was right about one thing. They shouldn't have to deal with this. This is why they call the police, to do a medical transport, because the dude has lost his mind and he's dangerous. And the family shouldn't have to deal with a dangerous fool in their house. So they called, help us, get him out of here. That's what a mental health transport is. The cops come and get you and take you against your will to the mental health facility, so the family don't have to deal with you snapping and killing them. And so they called the cops. This fool Mamdani thinks that social workers should have shown up. He would have stabbed them, and the cops would have had to come and kill him or shoot him after he had stabbed multiple people. They adding victims on top of stuff. They gonna show up regardless because he crazy. They gonna either show up before he hurt somebody, or they gonna show up after he hurt somebody. They showing up. And for him to say that his handcuffs should be released after that man made an intentional effort to take a knife and pursue stabbing law enforcement officers. They shut the door on him to prevent him from getting to them. He had enough time to make a decision to push the door open and continue to try to stab him. You got to go to jail. Take your to jail. All right, let's read Mamdani's comments on his X account. Y'all voted for this fool. This is what y'all get. All right, Grant, can you help me read that?
Yes, sir. Got it. I spoke with the Chakraborty family over the weekend and visited Jabez in the hospital last night. No family should experience such pain. Jabez has lived with schizophrenia for years. I have proposed a Department of Community Safety to build a mental health system rooted in prevention, sustained care, and crisis response, and one in which officers are not burdened with responding to such crisis alone. While we have been building an implementation plan for this, I have instructed my administration to expedite this work. With regard to the case, an NYPD investigation is underway, and my administration will release body-worn camera footage from first responding officers tomorrow. Jabez needs mental health care, not criminal prosecution by a district attorney.
Now, think about this. If Jabez would have stabbed the social workers, would he have been prosecuted? They're government officials too. They work for the government. They're not civilians. Would he go to jail then? If Jabez would have stabbed grandma in the back of her head because he don't want to listen to her, should he go to jail? Now, let's just keep it real. If Jabez would have stabbed an illegal alien in the back of the head because he had lost his mind, are y'all going to send him to jail or not, bro? Y'all got to stop playing. These people don't need to be on the streets if they crazy. I can't wait. Now, if you voted for him, I can't wait for it to happen to you. If you didn't vote for him, you might want to quit if he send you to a call like this with no assistance from law enforcement officers. These health care workers don't have no gun. They ain't got no gun or nothing, so what they gonna do? Run? Now, if you voted for Mamdani, I can't wait to make the video after you take your butt over somebody's house that's crazy and they stab you. I'm gonna make the video. I'm gonna laugh at you if you voted for him. I'm gonna say that's what you get. That's what you wanted. You wanted that. You wanted a mayor that will send you to a house of a crazy person with a weapon, with no training. Well, that's 2 + 2 is for. But for all my brothers and sisters that's out there that didn't vote for this, don't go. They send you say, nah, I ain't going there. Y'all better send some cops. Let me give y'all an example real quick, just so y'all see how real policing work. When I was in Tucson, we did this very well. We had an entire unit of police officers that were mental health professionals, which means, in part, right? They got certified in crisis intervention, and they got extensive training and certification. So they would be cops with guns, but they were dressed in plain clothes to try to soften up the response. But they were still cops, still had training, still had bulletproof vests, they still had a gun in case it went south. Also, what we did as a department is that we would go to the scene and we would have a social worker with us, meaning that Shanae is in the car in case it get jiggy. And if it get jiggy and we got to pop somebody like a balloon, then Shanae is in the car safe. If they act right and they are not a danger to anybody, we tell Shanae, come on in here and talk to him. We'll be hanging outside in case he nut up and we got to go in there and blast him. 2 + 2 is 4. Okay. I got a couple more Mamdani clips. Roll Mamdani, 602. I can't stand this dude.
My job as the mayor is to be straightforward with the New Yorkers and also to inform them of updates. And in meeting with the family, in visiting Jabez at the hospital, and in viewing this footage, it is clear to me that what Jabez needs is mental health treatment, not criminal prosecution from a district attorney. And we are talking about a family that is enduring the kind of pain that no family should, and an individual that has lived with schizophrenia for many years. And we have known of the need of a Department of Community Safety prior to this moment. This only highlights the urgency of that need and to be able to deliver it for New Yorkers.
I think they're going to ask him, did he also visit the officers? Now, I want you to think about this. Officers are humans too. And to shoot somebody is devastating. You don't want to have to kill anybody. You don't have to shoot anybody. Now you're getting a lot of scrutiny. Well, go visit the officers and see how they feel. Go see what they need. All right. I think that's all the clips we got. We had some other additional clips that we were going to add, but we're running out of time. But these people are nutty, and they need to be held accountable and exposed. Let me tell you guys also about, I want to show you Shenergy and also Verdict. So real quick, I want you guys to take a look at the brand new website. It is absolutely phenomenal. The interactive part of it is just, this is the best website I've ever seen in my life. All of the information you need is right here. It's very simple. Oh, shoot. Hold on a second. All right, go back. Sorry, y'all. I pushed the wrong button with my fat fingers. So all of the information here is all you need. You can see what Howie Mandel had to say about Synergy. You could go through and get the information of what's in the daytime formulation. You can also get what's in the nighttime formulation and all of the reviews. All right, I want to also go to verdict real quick because I want you guys to see this. Hold on. All right, I think we got it up. So you must be 21 and over. Make sure you click the button. If you lying, you can go to jail. So confirm your age and go to the website. This is the best bourbon that I have ever had. I don't know how we got away with selling it to you guys at such a low rate, but it's $60 bourbon. This should easily be $120 bourbon. Easy. Wait till you guys try it and you see what the reviews say. Easily the smoothest bourbon I've had, the best tasting bourbon. The Guilty is more of a traditional 6-year age bourbon, smooth. It's got a lot of flavor, a lot of notes. Like as soon as you have a sip of it, you're gonna realize it's got a lot more character than any other bourbon that I've had. The Not Guilty has brown sugar in it. We sold out our first batch immediately. And so the next batch is coming. I think it'll be here in March, like the beginning of March. You better pre-order it now or you are gonna regret it because you're not gonna have a part of it. Let me just show y'all some reviews real quick. You can go on and look at the reviews for yourself. Let's see. A treat, somebody said, smooth and delicious. Good. Used to make the old-fashioned, was amazing. Beautiful design and flavor. Somebody's favorite one is Not Guilty. There's tons of reviews on here. Some people have been a lot more detailed than others. This says, I bought this for my husband, loves the bourbon, bought it for my husband. He loves the bourbon, saw it on your podcast. I mean, now we got 6 pages of reviews, and they're all 5 stars. I think we got a couple that are 4 stars. And they're, let's go to the last page, because I think it was a couple here. A couple over here that are 4 stars, but they still say it's a tremendous bourbon, but they gave 4 stars, which is fine. But the majority of them, 6 pages, are all 5-star reviews. So go on and check them out. Look at the reviews for you purchase if you want to check it out. Or if you already purchased, leave your review. Tell us what you think. What is your verdict? All right, love you guys. We got to get up out of here. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the